Good evening and welcome to the Town of Surf City February 19, 2026 work session agenda. At this time, I'm going to call on Trudy Solomon to lead us in invocation, and followed by Councilman Koloski will lead us in the pledge. If you all would please stand.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here tonight together. We really appreciate everyone who was able to make it here and just be present. Lord, as we brought our bodies here, and there's some people hopefully, watching online, Lord, help us to be present with our minds also. Help us to be come to a place where we can be one-minded for the good of the community, for the help of our neighbors, for the safety of our town, and all of the other things that we need here to live and thrive. Lord, I ask that you bless our town workers. Please equip them, keep them safe as they care for their own, but also as they care for us. We have so many hard workers in our town that do so many things, and we do depend on them, and we ask blessings upon them. Help us to see beyond the info right before us, see the bigger picture, consider all the angles and obstacles ahead of us. In our town, we are blessed with so many things and so much, but there's a lot of growth and concerns and questions and planning to go into that. So help us all that are in this room and those who couldn't make it tonight, just make good decisions for our future, and that you be a big part of it. And as we approach the weekend, just keep us safe. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, once again, it's great to see you all here this evening. At this time, I would like to get a motion to adopt the agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We have an adopted agenda. And at this time, I'll look for Carla to anyone that has signed up to public speak, which we have no public speakers at this time. So we will move directly into item number 1, which is the tax reevaluation presentation by Pender County. And if you would come up and state your name and ask everybody just to settle in, because we're going to have this presentation, and then we're going to have like 23 more other items on the agenda. So,
all right. Well, thank you for letting me go first. Madam Mayor, Board, appreciate you guys letting us come out here. My name is Ryan Vincent, Vincent Valuations. So we are the company that the county contracted with to do the 2026 property tax reappraisal for Pender County. All right, make sure the clicker works here. There we go. So in North Carolina, we have to do a reappraisal at least once every 8 years. Pender County currently is on a 7-year cycle. So the last time that,
yep.
Talking to it a little more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Chris, can you turn the volume up in the speakers, please? Thank you.
We don't know.
No.
No, we don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. It will be online as well.
We're gonna turn the speakers up. Yep.
all right. So the last reappraisal in Pender County was in 2019. So again, we're working on one for 2026. So what that means is we go through and value all the properties as a fair market value, what a willing buyer and willing seller would pay as of January 1st. So in Pender County, there's approximately 55,000 parcels. So state law tells us that we have to appraise at 100% of market value. So what that means is we are looking for a value that a willing buyer and willing seller would pay as of January 1st. So market value is defined by statute as the most practical price that a property is in its true value in money. So as we know, over time, properties change in value. Buyers, sellers, costs, things like that. It's important to remember that at the tax department, we do not create market value. We're simply taking a snapshot of the actions of buyers and sellers in the marketplace as of a particular day. So to summarize our process, so we visited all of the properties in Pender County in the last 2 years. Somebody from the tax office or from our company came and measured all the properties. From there, we delineate the county into tax neighborhoods. We review all of the sales that come in. So whenever you buy or sell a property, you file a deed, and all those deeds get sent over to the tax office. So that's how we gather all of the sale prices. Then from there, we go through and we take those sales and we do our analysis on land values and building values, and we go neighborhood by neighborhood and value those properties neighborhood by neighborhood. And lastly, the last step that is still yet to come is the appeals process. There we go. So here's a quick summary of what our timeline looked like. So we started in the field in 2024. Then in the spring of 25, we started in the office doing our value modeling and analyzing our sales. We plan to mail notices here at the end of March, and then from there we'll start the appeals process, which we'll talk about at the end of this presentation. So we're responsible again for valuing about 55,000 properties in Pender County. We do not go inside folks' properties unless we are specifically asked to come inside. So there is some challenges with that we face with not going inside of houses. If somebody has, say, large cathedral ceilings, we might not know that. And we do things the same way that all counties across the state do and most taxing jurisdictions across the country. We use mass appraisal techniques. A little bit different than fee appraisal techniques if you were to, say, purchase a home or do a refinance. A little bit different, but ultimately we're still looking for the same thing, which is market value as of a particular day. So one of the things that we look at is sales ratios. So again, state law tells us that we have to value properties at 100% of market value. So again, what a willing buyer and willing seller would pay on January 1st, in this case, of 2026. So one of the main statistics we look at is the sales ratio. So the state tells us that our sales ratio should be as close to 100% as possible. So what that means is if a house sells for $300,000 and it's a fair market transaction, our tax value should be somewhere close to $300,000. So the next few slides I'm going to show are the previous tax value and a current sale. So again, we have to value at 100% of market value. So it's safe to say that the sales you're seeing, the values would be somewhere similar to what those sales are selling for. So when we go through these, first you'll see the location, the year that the home was built, the previous tax value, the recent sale. So this one here sold in November of 25 for $965,000, and the difference between the previous tax value and the current sale price is 114%. Now, this is usually where folks ask a question is my tax bill going to go up 100%? We have some slides to cover that, to talk about that once we get through these. So I'll flip through these. I think there's about 15 or 20 of these slides just to show different areas of the county and what things have done. And the most important thing to remember here is that unless you have done construction or demolition to your property, split your land, created more than one parcel from your land, or combined your land into more than one parcel, your tax value has not changed since 2019. So this one here was built in 2004. It was assessed for $325. It sold in September for $817. That's an increase of 151%. This one here was built in 68, was assessed for $446, sold in August for $1.1. That's an increase of 146%. This one was built in 1959, was assessed for $286, sold in September for $670. That's an increase of 133%. This one here was built in 16. It was assessed for 227, sold for 414. That's an increase of 82%. This one was built in 2002, was assessed for 172, sold for 380. In April, that's a 120% increase. This one was built in 2004, was assessed for 186, sold in March for 379. That's an increase of 103%. This one was built in 2001, was assessed for 180, sold in August for 325, and that's an increase of 80%. And we'll shift towards Burgaw. This one was built in 78, was assessed for 120, sold for 263. That's an increase of 118. This one was built in 64, was assessed for 91, sold in September for 257. It's an increase of 181%. This one was built in 2010, was assessed for 202, sold in November for 375. That's an increase of 85%. This one was built in 85, was assessed for 153, sold in July for 288, and that's an increase of 88%. Rocky Point, this one was assessed for 122,000, sold for 315. That's an increase of 156%. Oops, back there. This one was built in 2000, was assessed for 191, sold for 403. That's an increase of 110. Back to Topsail, this one was built in 86, was assessed for 80, sold for 208 in December of 24. It's an increase of 160%. This one was built in 97, was assessed for 71, sold for 230. It's an increase of 223%. This one was built in 2002, was assessed for 113, sold for 225. That's an increase of 99.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, ma'am.
When you go back to the next slide, the past slide,
Yep.
when it says Grady, is that subdivision?
These are all townships. So
Grady and Columbia on one. And I was like, where is Grady?
yeah, these are all, we did all these by the townships.
I don't know.
Where is
know where-
Grady or where is Columbia?
It's a census designated geographical area within the county. So when Mr. Vincent is representing Topsail as a
Yeah.
township, that includes everything
Includes
from
Surf City and all
Scotts
of
Hill
that,
to Surf City, Topsail Beach, Hampstead. That's all part of Topsail Township. So
Yeah.
Grady, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be out towards Curry area, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Then we got some commercial. So this is in Burgaw. This was assessed for 2.2, sold for 6 million. That's an increase of 168%. This one was assessed for 419, sold for 710. That's an increase of 69%. This one was assessed for 538, sold for $1 million. That is an increase of 86%. So as you can see there, across the county, we're seeing a lot of change. It's important to remember, again, last time the property values changed was 2019. A lot's changed since 2019. Went through COVID, went through all the price increases with all of that and everything that happened with that. And we're coming in here for a value as of 1/1 of 2026. So this is a slide I'd like to touch on. At the tax office, we're responsible for the value side. So your tax bill is two pieces. Your tax value is the value of the property and the tax rate set by the towns and the municipalities. We don't know what the tax rate is yet. Y'all don't know what the tax rate is going to be yet. And so it's there is an appeals process, which we'll talk about. But when the appeals are filed, it's an appeal based on value. It's not an appeal based on the tax bill. So moving into appeals. So we have a 3-step process we ask everybody to follow with appeals. So when we mail the notices at the end of March, the notices are going to have all of the links, all the instruction, all of this is going to be summarized on the change of value notice. First thing we ask is to go online or come into the office and review your property. So make sure your square footage is correct, your bedrooms, your bathrooms, make sure all the data on your property is correct. If you find any inconsistencies in the data, contact the office and we can go ahead and get that changed. We may ask you to fill out a form just so we have documentation of the value change process. Next thing, we're working with the county GIS to put all of our sales for the last 2 years online. So once that's live, everybody can go online and they can look at all of these sales that I just showed, plus the thousands of other sales that we've had over the last 2 years. So go online and compare your house to what your neighbors paid for their house and see if the value is in line with what your neighbors are paying. And lastly, if there is still a discrepancy in value, or you feel your value is not correct based on the sales, we ask you to go and file an appeal. Appeals will be able to be filed online, or you can come in the office, or you can mail a form in to file an appeal. So if you do choose to file an appeal, we ask that the appeals be based again on value. So when you're filing the appeal, it's based on the property value, which is based on market value. So a couple things we're looking for. If there is appeals filed, we're looking for some sort of evidence. It could be sales from online. Maybe you just recently purchased your house and you have a fee appraisal. Or maybe there's something wrong with the house. Maybe there's a leaky roof or a foundation problem or something like that that we might not know about when we go out there. So if you have any estimates, any notes, any photos, any evidence like that is what we're looking for when there is an appeal filed. So again, this slide just talks about comparing your values to other properties. Again, it's based on market value. And a couple of things, a couple points that I want to just touch on. There are some programs that are administered through the tax office that do help with property tax relief. There is a program for disabled veterans. To qualify for that, you must be 100% permanently and totally disabled through the VA. There is a elderly and disabled program that does give tax discounts there. And again, these programs are dictated to us from the state. So those programs and the qualifications are the same in all 100 counties in North Carolina. So if you know anybody that might qualify, please have them reach out to the tax office. We'd be happy to walk you through the qualifications. And if you do qualify, we can go ahead and get an application out and get signed up for that. So a couple key reappraisal dates. So the effective date or the date of value that we're looking at is January 1st, 2026. We're mailing notices at the end of March, and we just actually set, I think it was yesterday, I want to say it was yesterday or day before, the Board of Equalization and Review, which is the appeal board, that will convene on the 13th of April, and the deadline to file an appeal is going to be May 15th. And the first tax bills that will be affected by this will go out in the summer of 2026. A couple important points here. Just because the appeal deadline is in May, it might mean that if you file your appeal at the 1st of May, depending on how many appeals we get, it might not get worked until June or July. So if you get your appeal in time, it will be worked. Sometimes there is some confusion as to, well, I got it in, but I didn't hear anything for a couple weeks. Your appeal will be worked if it does get in on time by that May deadline. So we're finishing up the next couple weeks. We're finishing up our final value review and our analysis. Again, we're mailing notices at the end of March, and the appeals process will begin after that. And that's all I got. I'll be available for any questions.
Dang, you're the bad guy. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. That was a great presentation. So hopefully it answered a lot of questions for a lot of us here. For those that owned a property in 2019 or before, it sounds like you made a very wise investment, right? we just hope that Pender County will adjust the rate. You know, that's what, you know, that we can hope for, that their rate gets adjusted. And what as being the mayor of Surf City, I think is on the question of a lot of other people's minds that sit up here today is, you know, we're going to come into our budget season here very soon. And based on what you send out in March, what is the percentage on the appeals that are sent in that we're going to see? I mean, we have to plan a budget ourselves.
Yep.
You know, based on, I can only assume that based on if we go up over 100%, you know, our tax rate gets cut significantly, and I hope the county does as well. Do you have a percentage of like appeals that like?
Yeah, so when we tell counties to plan for appeals, we tell them to typically plan for 10-10-10. So 10% of the properties will appeal informally or initially to the office. 10% of those will go to the Board of Equalization and Review, and 10% of those will go to the State Tax Commission. So typically, if you plan for 10-10-10, historically the numbers are lower than that. But we tell counties to plan for 10-10-10.
So you're suggesting that the change in the tax base between pre and post appeal is very, very small?
No. The question.
That's my question, in that I've got to work off of a tax base when I calculate a tax rate.
Yep, correct.
All right. And if I get the March tax base of, let's say it's $20 billion for Surf City, what deduction from that, from the result of the appeals, do I expect? Is it $1 million, or is it $500,000, or is it $10?
Yeah. So we will work with the board manager to, once we get some final numbers for you, when the notices go out and you guys get some final numbers, we'll work on suggestions on what to hold back from those numbers for appeal, because the last thing you want to do is budget based on a number and then that number actually comes in lower. So we'll work with you guys to share a number that includes a little bit of holdback for appeals. And that's still forthcoming, because like I said, we're not mailing notices for a little more than a month from now. So the numbers are still changing. We're still reviewing the final sales that came in December. So those came in December. They were keyed in January. So we're working on those sales, going through the neighborhoods again that had sales at the end of the year. So we'll work with the towns to make sure that they have those numbers and they have an appropriate percentage of holdback with them for appeals.
Thank
Mayor,
you.
if
Yes.
I may ask a question. So will that interaction be between the town and Vincent, or the town and the tax office?
It'll be between the town and the tax office. Currently the county does not have a tax administrator. They have an interim tax administrator. So we've been backing them up and helping them with a lot of that.
I have a couple questions, if I may. Is mailing those out in March, is that in the normal timeline? Or, because it just feels like there was some delay for some reason, and that may be completely not true.
Yeah, so most counties across the state mail between probably the middle of February and beginning of April. So it's typical right now. I don't know how many counties across the state are doing 2026 reappraisals. As a company, we're doing 4 counties across the state for 2026, and all of our mailing dates fall within March, between the beginning and the end of March, for mail-in notices in those counties.
The follow-up question, based on your experience in your career, how many counties have you worked at until this year are staring at 100+% revaluation? And with that being said, I'm assuming it's not going to be that many. Do you think that 10-10-10 is going to hold up against this scrutiny as far as the number of appeals?
Yeah, I believe that the 10-10-10 would. And to answer your first question, We've seen a fair amount. I've done this for 20 years, all across the country. I worked in 7 states. And we've seen a fair amount that have gone up well over 100% across the board. It really depends on the amount of growth that's happening in the county, who's moving there, what they're paying, the amount of span between reappraisals. If your Department of Revenue and our professional organizations recommend a 4-year cycle, it's more consistent and there's less sticker shock, there's less 100% changes. And it depends on the cycle and what's going on. So again, the county hasn't done a reappraisal in 7 years, since 2019. And the market was really going up substantially through 2021, 22. It's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we haven't seen across the state, we haven't seen any drop. We've seen it slow down a little bit, but we haven't seen any decrease year over year, month over month sales. And if I look back at some of the counties we did for, say, 2022 and 2023 that were on 8-year cycles, we were seeing, when we were working appeals, we were seeing increases of 2 to 3% per month, property over property. We'd take the same property that, say, sold in May, sold again in December. So we're comparing the same property with no physical changes to it. And that's just market change. And we were seeing a couple, 3-4% per month. So it's important to remember that all of that is captured right here in one shot.
Understood. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to touch on something on the appeal process. One of the things you can do is have an appraisal done. But if someone does that, you need to make sure it's effective as January 1, right?
Exactly.
Because
yes, sir.
if you go to get an appraisal and you spend $400 or $500 on that to contest your value, and it's a May appraisal, they could kick it out because it's not January 1. So that's just important for the citizens to know that January 1's your date.
And should it come from it should come from a true appraiser, not just a market analysis.
Yeah, and typically, we put all of our sales online. If somebody wants to go get a fee appraisal, they're more than welcome to. We're going to review it. We're going to consider all evidence that's given to us. But we don't want the public to feel that they have to go do that. That is an option. If they get to the state appeal level, to the Property Tax Commission, at that point, it's strongly recommended. But we're going to review all the evidence that's submitted to us and make a decision based on the evidence. And that's what the Board of Equalization and Review is going to do at the county level too, is weigh all the evidence before them and make a decision based on the evidence.
John, you having questions?
No, I do not.
Do you have any more
No,
questions?
thank
Alicia?
Okay.
Trudy?
Thank you.
Kyle?
Oh, no, ma'am. Thank you.
Good?
Right. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you
appreciate
for
the
being
opportunity.
the barrier of all that news.
Thank you. It was very informative. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, item number 2 is Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Administrative Supervisor, and Frank he's the Director of Parks and Rec, and he will present.
Good evening. I'm coming to you guys with a proposal for our org chart. And in the full proposal, it'll save a couple bucks, so I hope that's good news. Susan Valiente's been the administrative supervisor for the town of Surf City and Parks and Recreation for 7+ years, but with the town for about 18. She is unfortunately retiring in the next few weeks, and so with her retirement, I was given the opportunity to understand it was happening upon my arrival, so I've been evaluating the org chart with that knowledge for quite some time. What I'm proposing is to take that current job title of administrative supervisor and turn it to a deputy director for Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. With that change, I'd like to be able to go ahead and mirror the salary of the director as far as the formatting goes, where 34% of the salary will come from Fund 21 and the other 66% will come from Fund 10. with all that change, I think there's room for us to be able to go ahead and eliminate a position for our special events coordinator role, assuming that some of our procedures can happen internally. So within your packet, you have the job description, the job title, the pay range, as well as the proposed savings for Fund 10. And so I'd like to answer any questions if you have them, or explain further if you'd like.
First off, I like to, and she's not here, but I'm sure we will see her before she retires.
Yes.
Susan has been a valued employee and a dedicated employee of Surf City for many years, and we're going to truly miss her. But seeing your plan and knowing how it's going to, consolidate and save money, I personally like your plan. I'm going to let everybody else have a chance to, starting with Mr. Pleil. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, a question and an observation. Effectively, you said you were eliminating one head count within your department.
That's correct. One full-time.
Right, so that there's one head count gone, and then we're taking an existing supervisor position and making it a deputy director position.
Correct, reclassifying.
Okay, and we're going to use some of Fund 21. So the net benefit to the town is a overall savings in headcount costs for your department.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to the math. No, I think that makes sense. I think I'm always concerned about span of control, and we're not really a flat organization. We're a pretty hierarchical organization throughout all our departments, where span of control is actually quite small compared to what an industry standard might be. We only have 114 employees, so we don't have 6,000 or 60,000.
Looking ahead and trying to anticipate, growth within the town, but also within our department, we're engaging in phase 2 at Earl G. Tourism itself is not going to get any smaller, quieter, or lesser. And so analyzing the division or the department and noticing that only the director has that direct correlation to tourism, and knowing the amount of time, effort, money, and manpower we spend in tourism, I thought that would be appropriate as well to kind of incorporate that into their job title and job description.
John?
I don't really have any questions, just comments. I think I've read through this, and I think that this makes sense to me. It seems that the person that is going to fill this position is more than qualified enough to do both, so I'm good.
Just for clarification, Fund 21 is
Accommodations tax, yes.
And can you just explain to everybody what that is?
Yes, that's revenue generated through short-term rentals within the town.
So basically, we're letting visitors
pay for this.
which is awesome.
And I'll just elaborate based on the question and response. I think it warrants some elaboration, is that, like what Mr. Sadati is saying, is that a portion of the position, a good amount of the position, focuses on efforts to recruit tourism in the town, whether that's through outward marketing, preparing and presenting special events, things of that nature. So that's what then warrants the expenditure out of the accommodations tax fund.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for reevaluating this, and I think it looks great.
We have consensus on moving forward with Frank Sidotto's plan. Did I say that right?
Nobody says it right.
How do I say it?
Sadati.
Sadati. Got you. I'm going to say it. Sadati. Thank you. You got consensus.
Beautiful. I think I'm next too, though.
Yes, you are.
So, item number 3 out of 24. Parks, Recreation, and Tourism sibling discount.
So this one hopefully won't need too much elaboration. Multiple municipalities and other Parks and Rec departments offer a sibling discount for many of their programs. We're trying to make sure that we can at least start here with our summer camp program. We do offer 144 slots per week while we're hosted at the school for our summer camp, and multiple participants have siblings within our program, we want to be able to officially offer a discount. Jacksonville, Pender, Onslow, and Hawley Ridge, our neighbors, all offer some sort of discount. Right now, it's $235 per week for a resident, and we're asking to offer a $30 discount per week per sibling. And that is not if you have 3 children, you get $60 off the third. It's just a flat $30 per sibling. And so we would just like to be able to move forward with that in our fee schedule and adopt that discount.
But is there a different rate for a Surf City resident versus a non-resident? And so you're applying this to both?
So in our current fee structure, yes, there is a distinct difference in a resident and non-resident fee. The sibling discount would be the same. There's no...
It's just $1. It's not a percentage.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Alicia, you have any questions? Hugh?
Surf City residents that apply for the camp, they're allowed to register prior to outside rest, so they get some type of preferential treatment
Yes, sir.
already, so that, and nothing that changed. Thank you.
You got it.
I do have one more question. Is this just summer camp or is after school also? Or
So I wanted to start small, one program, and ask for it. If it's successful, beneficial, we would like to expand it in the near future, but want to start here and see how.
summer right now? Okay.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to need a little clarity in the math. You said that the request says $30 per sibling, meaning per additional sibling.
Yes, so if there's 2 kids, one of them is getting a $30 discount on their registration. If there's 5 kids in the same household, pray for them, but then those 4 kids are all getting $30 off each. So $120 off total for the 5 kids.
So the summer camp costs how much per person, per resident child?
$235 per week
All right,
per
so it's
resident.
$235 for the first kid and $205 for each subsequent kid.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have any cost savings by having a sibling in the program that we would not otherwise have by having 2 neighbor children in the program?
No. Qualitatively, yes, there's a lot of behavioral issues that we don't incur with the more family members we have. But no, quantitatively speaking, the department or the town doesn't benefit financially from that.
And we're also going to apply this to non-residents.
This is not being proposed as an exclusive offer to residents. If it needs to be reconsidered in that capacity, I'm happy to go back at it. But this is more of a for families to encourage participation. We do service non-residents heavily in our Surf City summer camp program. So if this were not to be offered to that, I don't know if that would be a deterrent as far as registration numbers go for the program as a whole.
You said we have 144 slots for the summer program.
144 slots while we're at Surf City Elementary, which there was a recent change in their scheduling. I believe it is 6 out of our 8 weeks are there. The last 2 weeks are going to be at Surf City Community Center, where we can only host 72.
What's the age range?
6 to 12. And I believe we did go up this year. We're not doing best week ever, so we added 13 and 14-year-olds.
Right.
Yes.
So it gave you a little more opportunity to actually have some siblings, probably, because you
For
have a wider
sure.
age range.
Yeah, the age range has expanded this season.
With the capacity that you have and the fees that you charge, does this program pay for itself?
Yes,
Will it pay for itself after the discount for siblings?
we can't anticipate exactly how many siblings, but based on prior years, yes.
So we have a net positive revenue stream from this program right now. And I don't remember seeing that in the financials from last year, but I'm going to trust you that that's accurate.
Yes.
I believe that it makes sense for our residents, if there's a surplus in funding, to give them the discount. I'm not entirely convinced that non-residents, since they don't pay taxes within the town, ought to have the same benefit.
Sure.
That's my opinion.
Anyone else have any comments?
I understand what Andy's saying, but we also do allow Surf City residents to sign up first, so there's probably limited space for non-residents. Okay.
fast does summer camp book up?
So last summer, that's the most familiarity I have. I can pull data from previous years, but last summer we didn't fill out any week. Our most attended week was 121 participants. Hawley Ridge did start their summer camp last year and took on 36 participants each week. It's my understanding that they either filled out or came close to filling out each week. So I believe about 36 of those people probably would have been interested in Surf City summer camp in past years. I know there's a YMCA opening up on 17 that's going to be offering summer programming. And we also have some internal combatants because we offer athletic camps, different athletic camps each week. So the 144 that were afforded at the elementary school, again, is not necessarily new, but it's not guaranteed every year. And so that 144, we always max out at 72. We never max out at 144, so we haven't found a sweet spot yet.
Anyone else have any questions?
Thank you, Frank.
Frank,
Our
are you looking, go ahead.
Our summer camp, we offer a discount to our residents currently already, though, compared to non-residents as well.
That's correct. Well, yes, yes.
So they are already getting a discount.
So you're looking for a consensus tonight?
Yeah, just to be able to add this to the current fee schedule and have it installed moving forward, especially for this upcoming summer camp cycle.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
That's fine, yes.
And I was just going to say, we have the fee schedule update. That will be March 3rd. We had already talked about some prior fees that were on there, so that's why Frank is presenting this evening.
I would prefer to see it offered to residents, given that there is a surplus, that the program actually pays more than it costs. I am a little bit remiss in trying to justify a subsidy to non-residents from Surf City. That's my position.
All right, so we do not have consensus to move forward?
Well, 4-1, I suppose you do.
No, I think it has to be 100% consensus to move forward. No? Mr. Attorney?
I mean, it can go on the agenda, just not as a consent item.
Okay.
Right.
So we do not have consensus, so it will go on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It
Frank.
was- And just, the fee schedule was going to be included as old business regardless. So your actions this evening fit exactly in line with the process that would already be laid out for you, so.
Okay.
Thank you again.
See you again. Thank you, Frank. All right, item number 4 of 24 is going to be Miss Bella with Parks and Rec, and she's going to come up and present the resolution temporary suspension of ordinance 12-11B.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff is requesting approval of a resolution to temporarily suspend that ordinance you mentioned, 12.11B, to support a special event on May 2nd, 2026. Following their presentation to the town's Special Events Committee in January, Ocean Fest was approved to occupy portions of Roland Avenue, North Shore Drive, and South Shore Drive. And due to the nature of the event and them occupying the streets and those public properties, the resolution is requested to allow the event organizer to obtain their alcohol permit from the North Carolina ABC Commission in order to serve beer and wine in the approved footprint that was included with the request. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
One question. I'm looking at the map. The red arrows dictate the alcohol zone.
I believe that the alcohol would be allowed in the full
In that zone?
perimeter, yes.
Yeah, because I remember when they used to have it at the beach, we put an ordinance in there that you couldn't go outside the zone.
Yes, that's correct. And they will have their internal security that's going to enforce that.
I thought so.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
thanks.
full, I think it's the full yellow zone, John, as you look on it.
Oh,
The
okay.
full yellow.
Oh, so it's
Like
the whole.
the,
Yes.
the
Okay.
blue, yeah.
I just didn't know what the red
What's
red
the-
arrows.
What are the hours? I mean, is it just a one-day event? Sometimes it's been a day and a
Yes,
half?
it's a
or
one-day event
Just
this year.
10 to 5?
start, okay.
No, 10 to,
No, it goes later than that, doesn't it?
Like 9 o'clock in
Oh.
the evening.
Another question. Okay, so in the past, the bands, if I recall it, set up in the Welcome Center parking lot. Where are the bands going to set up in that same parking lot, being that Salty Turtle is a tenant in that?
no, this stage will be in the street. this year.
Okay. So the bands will be set up in the street?
Yes, it's that little like white box with the.
The road soft closed
Soft close, you mean?
area.
It says soft close.
Basically between the IGA and the old bank on Roland Avenue, and the stage will face the ocean.
Got it. Okay.
And Madam Mayor, I do have a couple of comments on this too.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So this was brought back to council for your consideration based on precedents that Town Council of Surf City had approved through council action a waiver to allow alcohol in conjunction with an approved special event. The ordinance in the next subsection below it technically authorizes the town manager to approve these processes, subject to special events committee, which is made up of our operational staff, law enforcement, fire department, all under Bella's leadership and direction, the fire marshal, and almost all departments look at this. So unless council has a concern with the ordinance as written, it would be our intention that we follow the ordinance for future events. Bella makes sure that all ABC permits are issued, and those ABC permits are generally, pretty restrictive in regards to the interaction of the alcohol being sold at the event and the location in which that alcohol can be consumed, because you do have other entities within this, I'll just call it a zone, that serve alcohol on a normal basis. Just because there's a special event going on, that does not mean that somebody from a neighboring business can serve alcohol and their patron take that into the zone, per se. Also, too, the barriers that are created that law enforcement oversees in conjunction with the applicant, it evaluates the ability to allow somebody to come into the event space with outside alcohol. So somebody walking down or coming up South Shore Drive that says, oh, there's Ocean Fest, I've got a beer in my hand. First of all, they should have been probably addressed beforehand, but they can't just come into that zone with alcohol as well. So just wanted to point that out. I feel like there's protections in place to continue with the ordinance, as it's presented and adopted within the town. And, I do think that working with event organizers, whether that's the one that we're talking about or other event organizers, there's going to be conditions that are applied to the permit or the approval of the special event to make sure that health, safety, general welfare are being maintained during that event.
So this is going to be my next question, because this makes it so you can't leave the event, and at the same point, you can't have Joe Blow that's renting a house down the street make up a cooler full of cocktails and walk up the street, right?
That's correct.
That's the waiver that you have, the way it's written in the resolution, does not prohibit that. And I would encourage the resolution to include those two instances, that the only alcohol that can be consumed on the street needs to be purchased from the recognized and registered vendor.
Right.
And that, so there's no to-go cups from Shaka Taco, which their beer is pretty good. And the other thing is that BYOB is not allowed, because we only waive the fact that you can't consume or possess. So how you got it there, if we only waive that, then legally we don't have a place to stand. So if we could just include that, you have to buy it from the registered vendor, and you can't bring your own.
Well, doesn't that fall upon the event organizers, if you want to call them security force?
So what I would recommend for the board to consider is that through this specific application, those conditions can be applied by the special event committee. Bella can write that into the approval. And if there is consensus of the board to modify the ordinance to make sure that that language goes into subsection C, then that provides the ordinance guidance that we would carry forward, and the standard conditions would not be amiss in future applications. So we can do that if the board wants to do that. And I think it would be a pretty simple process to get that turned around if there's consensus.
And we all recognize that the ABC permits for our local businesses don't allow to-go cups. But when you have the ability to walk around and drink, the individual who purchases that is making that decision. And it would be, for us, it would be bad for our local businesses to be held accountable for the misbehavior of an individual.
Absolutely.
I will say that in the conversations with the event organizers, that has obviously been discussed, and they've had conversations with those businesses, and that ahead of the event, they will work to make sure that any alcohol that is served in different cups so that their security staff can easily identify where it's coming from.
That would be excellent. And that way, and as long as the resolution is in a way that the event organizer gets to sell the alcohol and is responsible for those alcohol sales and no other alcohol is allowed, perfect.
I'm sure we can work out the language. Look, we're not reinventing the wheel here. This has been done before by the same group, and it was very successful, and I'm looking forward to it myself. I hope the community is. So it feels like we're going, the conversation's kind of got this vibe of, oh, no, this is something new that's coming. No, we've done this before. It's
My
the same
comments-
organizations. If we need to clean up some language, we'll get it cleaned up.
My comments were to protect this event rather than, because you might, who knows what you have on the outside, They want to go to it, it's a free event. Then you want to go to it, well, I can save a little more money, I don't have to buy a beer there, I can bring my own. That's, they haven't had any
I'm sure they'll have that
problems.
in place. They're not, they're there to, to raise funds, not to, I'm sure to work stuff out.
I know the requirements for selling alcohol in this regard, because it is an eco-friendly thing, they're probably going to have very specific things that they're serving alcohol in regardless, because it all has to be compostable. So I doubt we're going to see a whole lot of others. So I feel like they probably do have a pretty good grasp on making that very obvious about what's their containers and not their containers.
Yes.
Bella, the special event, Ocean Fest, this happened in the same location years before. They moved it a couple years and it was paid. It's coming back where it's originally was located at. Free event. Everybody in town's like super excited. Some of the event organizers are here, and they keep raising their hand. Do you oppose for them coming up and speaking?
I do not.
Okay. No, you got to come up here.
You gotta come up here, you gotta.
We get you on the record.
If you wanna
Get your
talk.
fingerprints and DNA.
Yep.
My name is Mark Boyle. I am the Footprint Operations Manager for Ocean Fest for the past 6 years. To answer your questions and your concerns, right, receptacle differences, cover that. Anybody who is currently selling beverages inside the footprint because they belong there, they don't use our cups, right? So I have security in place for both the entrance, right, for people coming in and for people wandering around. Like, there's literally a visual security on how we do the business on this. We put lines in to make sure that people can't have access to our beer faster than they're supposed to have access to our beer, right? So we have some population control and some management, right? This is very well, entrance points, receptacle differences, right? And we're done with that. And we have never had people ever bring beverages in from the outside, even from buddies back in the day. It's never been an issue, right? Occasionally someone sneaks out to the beach and we catch it, but we're gonna have those ones and twos. This has not been a historical problem for us with people trying to bring it in on the street in a cooler. And any time that we've had very small incidences of someone leaving Shaka Taka or the Peak by accident because they're a little off their rocker, it's been addressed and taken care of. And there's been zero law enforcement interaction in the 7 years we've done this?
I'm right here, babe.
7 years. So, just to put some control.
And the onus is not on you to regulate others' behavior. Your onus is to provide the sale of alcohol according to this rule. I'm just concerned that if someone has their own beer, absent having the language in there, if they get arrested and go to court over this, we could have a problem. It's a simple change, and Kyle already, Mr. Brewer already pointed out.
Put in the
So it's
verbiage,
not
like
you
we-
guys that
Yeah,
I'm
the
afraid
verbiage
of.
we can definitely clean up, and
And then
That's
the
all.
last concern, I just want to say, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I've spoken to every business in the area, in the footprint, and spoken to them about different colored cups so that we don't have any cross-contamination. So we will know what cups are coming from the Peak. We will know what a cup that's coming from Buddy looks like so that we can have better control of any cross-contamination so it's not coming into the footprint from outside businesses. So we've already done that work as well. So like if our cups look one way, the Peak will have a certain different color cup.
No,
so
it's
we
easy
know.
to identify the violator, but I'm just concerned that the definition of violator is incomplete.
Absolutely, understood.
we appreciate what you're doing for our community. And I'm sure that, Kyle, we can, and the attorney can work out whatever verbiage we need to.
Not a problem.
So it's not going to be on consensus tonight?
I don't feel it's.
Yeah. So we will bring it back
necessary.
at our March meeting?
Yeah, but they, as far as the special event, is we will work with Bella,
Yes.
conditions, and action from the town council to allow them to proceed is not necessary.
Okay.
So.
We're good, we're good to go.
You have, Trudy, yes?
Yes, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hugh? John?
Yes. Andy?
Andy Pleil?
I agree with the understanding that we're going to modify that and then move the whole decision back into the committee and keep it out of the agenda.
So you agree?
Yes,
Okay. That's what we honored.
with the understanding that we're going to
Yes.
make sure.
Well, yes, we're going
Thank
to do
you,
that.
Bella.
Thank you.
Bella.
All right, number 5 is annexation of Surf City Public Hearing Resolution, and Carla Citarelli, our town clerk, will present.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for properties owned by the town of Surf City that are in Onslow County. We recently modified the agreement with Hawley Ridge that allows us to annex in our own properties. So this would be for 3 different properties. You have the PIN numbers there in front of you and where they are located. We've been through all the process up to now. Everything is sufficient. It went to planning board. They suggested government, of course, for zoning. And so this is to set the public hearing for April. Only need consensus.
Thank you. Do we have consensus?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was
Carla, that was good.
Thank you.
You're winning.
You agree.
All right, number 6 is Carla as well, annexation Topsail Property Management LLC resolution.
Okay, we received a petition from Topsoil Property Management LLC, which is also a Steve Smith, asking for 1.5 acres. It's 3 tracts that basically make a square that you should have a map in your packet for where that's located along Highway 50. They're asking for C3. Of course, it will go to Planning Board for recommendation. This is just the resolution of whether or not you want me to move forward with investigation.
To research it? Okay.
Is the developer here? No.
No.
Is this consensus?
Yes.
Consensus.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Carla. Dang, you're on the roll. Number 7 is David Price with Public Utilities Sole Source with Trojan Technologies.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Before you is a sole source request for Trojan Technologies. The purpose of a sole source is to directly purchase appropriate technology that might belong to be special or what's the word? Forgive me. It's unique to the provider. It cannot be bid out in a traditional manner. Trojan provides our UV disinfection technology for our wastewater plant. They own the technology, they own all the equipment. We currently use Trojan, and with future expansions are needing for our future wastewater treatment units, we like to keep some consistency. We'd rather not have a Trojan on this site or a different one on this site. We'd like to have parts that can be interchanged and upgraded together. So in order to avoid the bidding process and stick with the technology that the original wastewater plant was designed for, and to continue that technology throughout the town, we're asking for Trojan Technologies to be named as sole source.
And this applies for this year, all years?
Once it's in effect, it stays in effect until the council rejects. And that does not mean that we can't bid out. We can still bid out if we so choose to. But if it makes sense, it alleviates us from having to bid out.
And it's not linked to any specific project or CIP. It's for whatever, when we need that service. Okay.
It is townwide, yes, sir.
And there's no money involved right now.
No, so this is just naming them as sole source to avoid the bidding process.
It's basically like having them on retainer, sort of. So if we need a problem, we have somebody to go to instead of waiting when the problem has occurred and then trying to bid it out.
What it does is it avoids the risk of the complications of someone bidding lower than them and that technology not being one that we actually want.
We have consensus?
Yes.
Thank you.
Andy Pleil?
Yes.
Thank you, David. Number 8 is James Horn will be presenting for the Emergency Management Hazard Mitigation Plan per FEMA reimbursement.
Yes.
FEMA.
Oof. Chris, got this thing loud, man. Anyway, good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Before you is agenda item number 8. It's the discussion and request for board consensus to adopt the draft 2026 through 2031 Southeastern North Carolina Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. That's a mouthful. The draft plan has been funded by North Carolina Emergency Management and was developed by ESP Associates. It was created using input from local government staff as well as community members throughout the 4 participating counties and 34 municipalities. As part of this update, Surf City staff has refreshed and restructured our mitigation action plan. It's included in your packet there, focusing on strengthening communications resilience, infrastructure protection, natural resource preservation, and public preparedness efforts. You will notice that the current map or mitigation action plan in the current iteration sits within Pender County proper. We don't have a specific plan to us. In the draft that you see before you, we have separated our mitigation action plans away from the county, so we're a standalone. We're doing that to not only bring unity and uniformity throughout that plan, because everyone in Brunswick County, all the municipalities are separate and apart. From a staff standpoint, it's easier to track and kind of maintain what we're doing. Under the requirements established by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, formal adoption by each of the included jurisdictions is required to remain eligible for federal pre- and post-disaster funding. Our current plan is set to expire in April of this year. I just actually talked to our vendor, ESP, earlier this week, and they said everything's going the way that it should, so we should, if everyone adopts this plan, should have a actionable document before the current one is set to expire. Keynote, adoption does not obligate expenditures of funds or require implementation of one or all of these maps. It only provides a strategic framework in which staff can use to, again, monitor and map our actions forward, as well as maintaining that eligibility for the federal funding for pre- and post-disaster projects. Hopefully we don't have any, but we want to maintain that eligibility. So with that, it is a very large document. It's over 1,200 pages long. I will try to answer any questions you may have on it. Otherwise, I would request this item be put on the consent agenda for the March 3rd regular session for formal adoption through resolution, also included in your packet. Blech.
I have a question. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said that adopting this plan does not encumber any resources to comply. So we haven't committed to spending any money.
Correct.
We've only committed to trying to follow the plan as best we can. And
Yes, sir.
the other question, when I was looking at it, it still references back Pender 2.0 land use plan. Has that been updated to the Imagine Pender 2050 plan? Because there are changes in it.
So I'll tell you, when the draft plan was actually going through its reviews, the original
Pender
land use
2.0
plan was still in
place.
effect. So
Okay.
that would be a question I'd have to follow up with the vendor on.
And there are a couple of items on there, and they have a list of who does it, who doesn't do it, and then there's one item in there, PC 28, which says we're exempt from doing it, and that's elevating lift stations. That is still in place in the new plan, right?
Let me look it up here.
Page 9,
And it was under which one?
PC 28?
Oh, the Pender County one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't.
That doesn't change.
It does not change.
Okay, I think Mr. Price will be happy to hear that.
So, Mr. Price, as well as Mr. Smith, Mr. Brewer, we all sat down and kind of come up with those action plans that you have before you. So I definitely didn't do that on my own. I can blame some other people, you know?
And you would say, in your best estimate, after reading the 1,200 pages, there are no significant changes in the plan?
Outside of including additional hazards that weren't included in the original, it's pretty much.
Right, I remember those discussions. I went to a couple of meetings, and
It's pretty standard across the board, and that's kind of the key behind these regional plans is to, every plan, everywhere you should go should be somewhat uniform.
so nothing jumped out and surprised you? Okay, thank you.
Makes it pretty clear. It's to eliminate flooding, help eliminate flooding.
Right.
FEMA, free, federal funding, all these F words that you hear.
F words.
Yeah,
The good F words.
they're all good F words. FEMA, free, federal funding.
Funding.
Do we have consensus to move forward? Trudy?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, James. Next item is James as well, Emergency Management Radio Replacement Fund 10 BOA.
All right, thank you again.
It's advancing a project, right?
Advancing a project. So before you is agenda item number 9, it's a budget ordinance amendment supporting the public safety radio subscriber replacement project. This project was discussed during the annual planning meeting, and if so approved tonight or on March 3rd, it would remove the funding request from the fiscal year 26-27 request, like we had talked about. So the amendment before you authorizes the transfer of funds from the general fund reserve, Fund 10, to the subscriber replacement capital fund, Fund 56. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. Otherwise, I just ask again for consensus to place it on the March 3rd consent agenda for approval. And then the next ones. Yeah.
Do we have consensus?
Yes, I'm good with that.
You have a question?
No, I said I'm good with
I had
that.
said, all we're doing is accelerating phase 2.
That's all we're doing. Yes, sir.
Melissa, we good with that? All right. If she's good with it, I'm good with it.
James wouldn't be standing before us if she was not good with it.
I'm not going against
I'm new
Melissa.
at this, come on.
You'll catch on.
See a stapler in her hand?
Yes. She was- Consensus?
Yes, yes, I said yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Item number 10, Emergency Management Radio Replacement Fund 56 BOA, which is basically
This is Fund 10, accepting the funds. I'm sorry, Fund 56, accepting the funds from Fund 10.
Right.
we agreed to accept the funds from.
Yes.
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 Melissa, good with you?
Thank you,
All right,
James.
thank you all.
All right. Item number 11 is Chief Alan Wilson, Fire Department Air Pack Replacement BOA.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. What you have before you is a budget ordinance amendment to fund the remaining portion of the Fire Department's air pack replacement project. The Fire Department is requesting approval to replace 30 self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBAs, associated cylinders, rapid intervention team RIT packs, and the department's compressor and fill station. This request represents a comprehensive life safety system replacement rather than a routine equipment purchase. If you will recall, during the fiscal year 25-26 budget process, this project was partially funded with hopes of securing FEMA grant funding for the remainder. Unfortunately, we did not receive that grant. We are here tonight to request this additional funding. The timing of this request is imperative due to a known price increase coming on April 1st, as well as just ongoing failure of our current SCBA systems. We just had to place 2 more additional packs out of service last week due to repair costs exceeding their value. The firefighters' SCBA is the single most critical piece of protective equipment issued to firefighters. It provides breathable air and immediately dangerous to life and helps environments, including structure fires, hazardous materials, incidents, confined space rescue, as well as carbon monoxide emergencies. When firefighters enter these environments, the reliability of their air supply is absolute. There's no redundancy beyond the air pack that they have on their back. We've been planning this replacement for several years. Our air pack replacement committee has dedicated many hours to demoing different styles and types of air packs. I would like to thank those personnel who worked on this project. Assistant Chief Hobbs, which is Hobbs, not Hall, not Hobbs, is here in the room, but he headed this project with help from Deputy Chief Hobbs, as well as Captain Citarelli Captain Lester, Lieutenant Van Pelt, along with other staff to help with that process. The total cost of this project is $571,734.86. We allocated $200,000 in this year's budget, so we are requesting the remaining balance of $371,734.86. Once the new packs and compressors are in service, we will have the opportunity to surplus all the old equipment. This specific value would be difficult to determine at this time. The compressor and fill station will have the highest value, as that system has a wider scope of use outside of the fire service. The packs, unfortunately, would only be valued for parts or backup systems. If you wish, for the sake of the board, I'm happy to review the entire justification for this project that was presented during the budget process last year. Or if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This equipment is a vital safety piece of equipment for our firefighters, correct?
Correct.
That's
And
all
it's a replacement of outdated equipment.
This makes the difference between them keeping them safe and unsafe, correct?
Correct.
That's all I gotta know.
So did we buy any last year?
Did not.
We were hoping to get a grant, right?
We were, yes.
Yeah.
How many of these do we have currently?
We have over 40 currently, but we're only replacing 30 because that's all we need.
All right, and that, so given the math, that's about $20,000 for a set?
So the air packs themselves, the air pack itself's about $8,000, and then you also have mask and regulators, spare bottles, RIT packs, and then the compressor and fill station.
Right, so you add it all together, they run about $20,000 apiece, and their life expectancy?
15 years.
Pardon me?
10 to 15 years.
Okay, so it's $2,000 a year per firefighter, and I think it's worth saving the money. So 20K is coming out of the 243K that was already approved last year. You're asking for
200,000 was approved last
Well, you
year.
had 243 in your budget for capital outlay.
That's for, and 200,000 was earmarked for this
Got
project.
it. So that's 371, and that's coming from. So we're going to transfer it from Fund 10. And this is going to happen now because prices are going up. All right. It would have happened anyway next year.
Well, we were hoping for it in this year's budget.
We're hoping for it for last year's budget.
And
but we didn't.
is there?
That's true. Yes.
Then there's no opportunity to go back to the well to get grant funding post-purchase, or is there?
No.
So this is coming out of Surf City.
Correct.
Well, I made a promise not to shortchange our firefighters or our police when I was running for election, and $371,000 is a big chunk of money. I think we need to go ahead and move this forward on consensus, and that
It's hard.
not doing it is a bad decision.
Absolutely.
agree.
Yep,
Agree.
can't put a price on a life.
It's hard to put a price on it.
Consensus granted.
Yes.
If you don't mind, do you mind calling up the rest of your staff that's here with you tonight?
So I have Assistant Chief
Come on
Hall,
up, guys. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Come on
Captain
down.
Jones, and I have Captain Citarelli.
Yeah, yeah.
Sit down.
No, don't sit down. Because you have, because I don't think he wasn't here, so we didn't recognize him. The Fireman of the Year?
That's right.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was last year,
Last year.
or a year and a half ago,
Yep.
for the state
For
of
the
North Carolina.
state.
Yep.
For Surf City, there was recognitions like in the December meeting of participants that are trying to like hide behind someone. Can you recognize like,
Would you tell him to stop?
yeah,
You put me on the spot.
Yeah.
All right, so turn around, guys. Microphone around. So we do have Assistant Chief Hall right here. He's in charge of all of our training programs, our onboarding programs, and did really anything that I asked him to do. He takes care of for me. But he was recognized in 2024 as the North Carolina Firefighter of the Year in a competition with the entire state. So we appreciate what he does. We have Captain Citarelli here, and which is one of our shift captains on the mainland station. We have Captain Jones is also a shift captain on the mainland station. So, you good with that?
I am.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I could write a whole bunch of stuff, but
We appreciate you being here. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate all that you do.
good.
Yes. Item number 12 of 24 is David Price, Public Utilities Forestry Income Fund, 31.
Okay. Appreciate the opportunity to speak again. I do ask for a little bit of grace. I presented a PowerPoint, but unfortunately, number 20 and 21, 20 is right in the middle of my PowerPoint, so I'm asking for those two items to swap, if that's okay with the council.
What do you want to do, item 21 now?
No, just as we go through them, the PowerPoint covers items 12 through 21 with the exception of 20. So I was hoping to swap 20 and 21 if that's okay.
Okay.
Just, so in your presentation, swap and explain as much as possible. If not, they have to re-adopt the
Yeah.
agenda.
Well,
I apologize.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So first item on the list is a Public Utilities Forest Income Fund 31 Budget Ordinance Amendment. Surf City adopted a forestry program this fiscal year, I guess last fiscal year technically. We've earned $259,000 in fiscal year 24-25, and so far we've earned $268,000 this fiscal year through the timbering service. Unfortunately, we signed that contract after the budget was adopted. Therefore, we did not have an expenditure line item in there to pay for some of the needs that came along with that, such as rebuilding the roads, reseeding, wedge cutting, anything that needs to run that forestry program. We have been paying that out of the wastewater treatment plant budget. They need to be made whole again in order to continue their operation, but also we plan to pay $50,000 more. If you go out to Juniper, we've cleared approximately 130 acres so far in sold timber to earn the income mentioned. We need to go ahead and reseed that in the coming spring. So with this $100,000 budget ordinance amendment, that makes $50,000 to make the wastewater plant whole again, the money that we've essentially borrowed for them, but also puts in $50,000 for reseeding. On a side note, staff does recommend consensus. We just recently received this. We were recognized as a certified tree farm. We have met the highest standard within the state for harvesting pine and harvesting trees. We will have that sign made and placed at our front entrance. But staff recommends consensus to
I'd like to interrupt for just a second. Madam Mayor, is it possible to get the slides on the monitors up here? I'm sorry, from this angle, I just,
You can get it on your laptop.
not those slides.
Oh, okay.
The ones that are on the monitor here, can we get them on the monitors here?
That's good.
We're good.
We got
Thank
it.
you.
Here you.
Great.
Do you have any questions, Andy?
I agree.
Alicia?
Good.
Alicia? John?
Yep.
The total spend this year's 50 or 100?
We spent 50 so far, but we plan to spend another 50 before the budget's over.
You're going to give 100 back to the wastewater treatment
We're
plant.
going to give 50 of what we already spent of their money back, plus we're going to take another 50 and spend it in future forestry services.
We're getting a 3-to-1 return on our investment, basically, so that's okay. No, I get it. We get 300,000, we spend 100,000 to get it.
We've already earned 500,000.
Well, yeah, but I'm looking at this year versus revenue this year, so that's good. Yeah, I'm good with it.
Keeping everything clean. We like it, David Price.
Thank you.
Got consensus.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 13, Public Utilities Facility Expansion Phase 2 GMP.
This is the second phase of our ongoing project. Currently, the administration building is underway, where the old fire station, or I guess most recently it was a police station, used to be at on Highway 210. The second phase of this is to build 3 50 by 150 foot buildings. This includes grading, all the civil work. These buildings are already planned to be occupied. They would serve as workshops and equipment storage for our collections and distribution divisions, our stormwater, and all our heavy equipment. Currently, all that equipment is sitting outside. We've outgrown our current facilities, and once this is constructed, facilities and grounds and other general funds will inherit the public works building we're currently in. They have recently lost their home with the loss of the police department and some other transactions that have happened throughout the town. So this benefits us and the general fund. The town plans to finance this first building, finance the second phase. The first building was paid completely out of savings. And Mr. Rawson and Mr. Stoven are in attendance to answer any questions about the guaranteed maximum price, or if you'd like any updates at all about the current building process.
You guys need to come forward and want to present anything? Put you on the spot here.
Thank you, Madam Mayor,
The
Council.
site still looks very nice and clean.
That's good.
And we're going to do a little field
Pub
trip
crawl.
tomorrow.
We have hard hats and
Site,
safety vests
yes.
for all of you.
Looking forward to it.
Come out. We'll be there. I think we're meeting with Mr. Kyle first thing in the morning. But right now, just quick update financially on the pub building. We're still looking at over a $537,000 savings in cost buyout. It is 98% bought out, so we about know where we are. There's some other funds that were potential costs, tariffs that we were scared of last year that have not been in play, and you've not gotten into any of your contingencies. So funds coming back is very good on this project. The other project is, and I'll let Nate talk to you about where we are, where we're headed, but I'm more the financial
Absolutely.
person. But on Station 25, we are currently $53,000 under budget. We have not touched anything with any cost increase, potential tariff increases. We are 85% bought out on that, so everything's looking good. We hope to plan to, at the end of the day, be under budget with that one as well. So that's my side, and I'll let Mr. Stoven talk about.
Good evening. So going over what happened last month at Surf City Public Utilities, or the pub. Last month we completed framing, drywall, and drywall finishing. Mechanical and electrical and plumbing rough-ins have all passed inspection. So you'll see tomorrow, we have actual walls up with drywall on them, which means in the next month, we plan on placing tile in some of the bathrooms. Permanent power is going to be coming into the building to run the HVAC systems. Paint, brick on the exterior, siding on the exterior, and windows should be going in next week as well. So that's at Public Utilities. Station 25, last month we got the pre-engineered metal building erection complete, exterior doors complete, along with the new roof on the addition and the re-roof of the existing building, apparatus bay. And we are working on CMU block on two sides of the building right now. Overhead doors will be going in next week, and that'll allow us to secure the building so we can do some interior work while still keeping the station safe. So, any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow.
Yes.
But staff recommends consensus to move this GMP to the March 3rd meeting.
Yes. Yes.
Alicia?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask a question. The item 13, okay, the 3 additional buildings.
Yes.
The need for these buildings is not predicated on any specific expansion option. In other words, we need this irrespective of how we ultimately agree to expand wastewater and water services,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir. This services current staff as it is now. We have 3 buildings for 3 divisions.
Right, so this is something we need regardless of any decisions we make, other than the 400,000 gallon per day project that we've already talked to death about, so.
Yes, sir, this is for existing
All right.
staff.
So this is not extra stuff way out there, or,
No, sir, it does have the
Okay.
ability to expand, but what is in the quote right now, or the JMP, I should say, is for existing staff.
and it's going to be debt funded.
This second phase, not the first phase, just what we're presenting tonight, the 4.9 million.
That's going to be debt funded.
That's correct.
Okay. She's shaking her head yes, so what can I say?
And just to add to that, I did run the model with this and the loan involved with the resiliency project, which I think we will, I apologize, got a lot of projects. That is not on tonight's meeting, but you are familiar with the resiliency project.
Right.
I ran the debt service on both of that. It would not, either one would trigger a rate increase, not for the next 3 years at a minimum.
Okay.
We have consensus, David Price.
Yes.
Okay.
And if I may, Madam Mayor, this is also to preface council's needed actions on March 3rd, where you'll be presented with a series of resolutions to initiate the financing process for this, and also to conduct a public hearing. I'm sorry, Price, I didn't know you had that on
You
the
got
second
both.
slide. Okay. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay.
A public hearing to approve the financing?
That's
Okay.
Okay, so item 14.
Okay.
Track here.
Is Public Utilities Expansion Phase 2 Fund 78.
I apologize. Got ahead of myself. So what this does is it creates a project ordinance for this project, accepting the debt service and creating a project in order to go ahead and, should the GMP get approved, to be able to award the contract and pay the contractor. Like I said, we are asking for 5.2. You notice that is above the 4.9 the GMP covers. That covers some of our financing costs, but also to keep costs low, staff will be conducting a lot of work themselves that they are able to do to save cost. Stuff the dumpster pads, some electrical, anything they may need that staff is capable of doing. The extra, minus the cost for seeking the loan. We do have a financial specialist that handles that, which has their own cost involved. That other extra fund is going in there to pay for materials for the staff to build.
Anyone have any questions?
These three buildings are going exactly where?
Are you familiar with the current site, sir?
Yeah.
Directly behind it.
Okay, so it's at the current site?
Yes, sir.
Not
Not Public Works. We're talking about.
right. It's not down on 210.
On Highway 210, where we're doing our field trip tomorrow.
That's correct.
That's where they're going?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the building is under construction.
Yeah.
Directly behind it.
Got it.
Do we have consensus?
Yes.
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 Thank you, David. Item number 15, Public Utilities Waste Treatment Plant Fund 83.
I just want to make sure we cover this. I know Mr. Brewer covered some of this in anticipation for this up to be ensure that meet all the financing requirements. We are preparing a loan application package which is underway. We have to advertise a public hearing for March 3rd and has issued a request for proposal to solicit financing options. I believe that we are starting to get some returns on that already. Me and Melissa were talking a few minutes ago. During the March 3rd meeting, a public hearing will be conducted. Following the conclusion of the hearing, the staff will request the council consider and approve the resolution authorizing staff to proceed with completing a loan application process and a reimbursement resolution authorizing the town to reimburse eligible costs. So that was more informative. I don't need no action on that. Okay. The next.
This is item number 16, Public Utilities Water Treatment Plant Fund 75.
This is 15, I'm sorry.
15, okay.
Actually, it's 15 and 16, but I would need two separate consensuses. So as the town continues to expand the size of the water treatment plant from 2.6 to 5.2 MGD is something we've been looking at for a while, as well as increased distribution system lines, new wells, and water plants. All that has to be studied, and they're all broke down into small contracts because it's very dynamic. We have a lot of negotiations going on with our neighbors with purchase agreements, which in turn subsidizes ratepayers. We currently have one with our neighbors to the north, which helps us greatly. We are in talks with 2 of our other neighbors that could help them greatly and helps us greatly. These series of contracts are smaller in nature, but they need to be broken down because we need to alter them quickly with changing data. Like I said, if one of those negotiations falls through, we want to be able to alter that contract in order to downsize it or go where the data takes us. This also includes the studying of a new land for water tower, which will be badly needed before too long. Let me make sure I got all the notes. Along with this, one of the initial reasons why we started looking at this is PFAS removal. I know this council's heard me talk about it before, but this is a growing issue within all of our communities of forever chemicals. In Wilmington, they call it Gen X. Globally, they call it PFAS or PFOA. The chemicals, microplastics that break down and continue to build up in the environment. It is not in our water source yet, but it is in the hydraulic cycle. It's in the rainwater, it's in the crops, it's in solar panels, it's everywhere. It's in the clothes you wear. Every time you wash it, they'll break down, they into the environment, and we have to have a way to remove them. We are thinking ahead to go ahead and get rid of them. That is originally why we started this. But if we're going to invest in this kind of technology, and it's very unique technology we're looking at, the expansion of the plant is logical at the same time. And like I said, I mentioned the purchase systems, and I can speak a little bit more on that if you like as well. But council is requesting 2 separate consensuses. One is for the Fund 83 BOA to transfer fees out of system development fees into the fund balance, into appropriate fund balance, and for Fund 75 to accept these fees into a project ordinance.
We have consensus on Fund 83.
Yes.
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 So this request is for consulting services.
That's correct.
To allow us to develop, design, and figure out exactly what we want to do with regard to wastewater treatment expansion?
Water treatment, sir.
Water treatment.
Yes, sir.
Expansion.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is planning. It doesn't commit us to any single set of.
No, sir. What this does is study the whole system to see where we can improve for fire flow, improve for feeding other towns, where we need to place a tower. It's a whole system. Now, the focus is on a water plant and PFAS. That's where we started. But since then, if we're going to tackle a problem, we want to tackle the whole problem, not have a stumbling block down the road.
H2O study.
Yeah, complete H2O study, yep.
Yeah. And when is this work supposed to start?
After March 3rd.
After
we
you
give them the money.
We get the, okay.
And we don't have a clear, I mean, we have a broad scope of work, but we don't have any specifics.
I have several smaller contracts that we are reviewing. Mr. DeSalins has looked at them, Mr. Brewer has looked at them, like I said, but like this is a dynamic matter. And the contracts are small in scope in order for us to interchange them. If you'd like to see the contracts, I'd be glad to share them with you.
I'd like to get an idea of what the scope of work is. And like you said, this is a dynamic environment today. We're still looking at options, and I would hate to spend an inordinate amount of time exploring an option that is lower on the list of probability of happening. So it's just.
PFAS is happening now.
Well, no,
It's
and I agree with that. But it's $1 million for a consultant to tell us our options and our costs associated with waste.
It's $1 million to look at our existing lines to improve fire flow, pick out a piece of land for a water tower, study that piece of land to make sure it suits for that need and other needs, brings our water plant up to 5.2 MGD, removes PFAS, and it gets us to design and bid out.
That's the part where the PFAS part is good. The doubling the size of the water plant at this point in time, planning for that might be premature.
We have to buy land.
Yes, you can't
So we can't, I think we've all discussed that, like.
We have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
We have to prepare.
If he's got to figure out a specific piece of property, and I think that's part of this, like they have to go out and perk and test and find the right place to put a water tower. It's not just, I'm going to buy a
good
lot somewhere.
Okay,
so-
were you talking about water, the 5.2?
Yes, sir, water.
Not waste water?
No, just
Never been
My bad.
wastewater.
drinkable
My
water.
apologies.
Drinkable water.
Yes,
Water,
yes.
stuff that doesn't have chemicals in it.
Okay.
Stuff
so-
that's good for you.
So this, I'm good with that.
Yes,
It's
sir.
just, when we get to the wastewater stuff, I think we need to be careful what we invest in terms of consulting.
Yes, sir. We'll have that in a few slides.
Okay.
All right, so Fund 83, we got consensus.
Yes, we do.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 16, Fund 75, we have consensus.
Yes.
David Price, you're on item number 17 of 24, Public Utilities Del Mar Stormwater Fund, 32 BOA.
Yeah. This is an ongoing project. This was, town originally studied stormwater problems along with the Resilient Coast Communities Program. They identified several locations. This is the next step in it. Roland's currently under construction now. We're hoping to roll directly into this right afterwards. This is the Del Mar, or also called Mecklenburg. I do use the old subdivision name, so excuse me. But this does not serve only Mecklenburg. This is the low spot for about half of Del Mar, so it should help tremendously in that neighborhood. Unfortunately, the grant money we did have remaining after the roll-in access was not enough to cover it. We had $166,000 left. Staff is requesting to transfer $105,000 into this from the stormwater appropriated funds, the revenue that we've earned from the stormwater division, into it to complete this project, to cover the remainder of what was due to complete this project. Let me make sure. Now, I do want to distinguish this from the Old Settlers Beach, also known as Canals. That is up the road a little bit. We are also working on that, and that is also being funded by a separate grant that we call Lassie. We will be having a meeting on that on March 7th to go over the options for that neighborhood. We are looking at solutions for them as well. But these two neighborhoods are right next to each other, so I did not want to confuse the two.
Del Mar is just north of Surf Condos.
Typically, Del Mar, when you consider that, is from Surf Condos to Broadway, and Old Settlers Beach is from Broadway to Town Line.
Time on March 7th?
I'm sorry?
The time on March 7th?
I have to get that for you. I don't have that off the top of my head.
I want to say it's at 10 a.m., but we're going to be hitting the advertisement hard next week, through all avenues that we have, and a communications plan is being developed right now.
Bryce, with that storm mitigation area there at Mecklenburg and North Topsail, do you feel it will be able to pull water from those houses there on North New River to get buried, or are we gonna have to come back with another project on that?
It will prevent water from the north from going there, because I'm gonna walk around a bit if it's okay. So all this retention right here is a bioswell on both sides. So anything coming from the north area you're talking about is over here. The 1,000 block.
When I used to live over there, those poor people on North New River and on North Tops on both sides, that the water would just stack underneath their house.
Yes, sir. That's this area right off the screen.
Yes, sir.
So anything coming from the north would be intercepted by these bioswells and infiltrated into the system. Unfortunately, the stuff coming from the south, we could not catch that. That is all privately owned, and we have not been able to make a real estate agreement on that.
Understood. It's still on the radar though, right?
It is still on the radar, and if we can make an agreement, we'd be glad to.
Understood. Thank you.
But staff is requesting a Fund 32 transfer from the Stormwater Appropriation Fund balance and a Fund 37 to accept these funds into the project ordinance. Two separate consensus, if it pleases council.
Andy?
Do we have consensus?
I'm just trying to put my arms around the Fund 77 versus Fund 32.
Fund 32 is your enterprise fund that supports stormwater, and
Got it. I'm good. Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Yes.
And just for timing,
Accepted on the other end.
Yeah, so item number 18, Public Utilities, Del Mar Stormwater Fund, 77 BOA.
End of it, right.
Was the other end of it, everyone has full
Yes.
consensus. Item number 19, Public Utilities Wastewater Treatment Plant Fund, 176 BOA.
so April 2025, I'm sorry, that is a misprint. I believe that should say 23. The town was awarded $19.7 million to fund a portion of the next wastewater plant expansion. This will fund subsurface phase 2, which is underneath the new park, a new ultraviolet disinfection equipment, which I mentioned earlier with the sole source, and a portion of the new wastewater plant. It won't cover the full wastewater plant, but it'll cover a good portion of it. Once all this is complete, the project will allow treatment and disposal up to 400,000 gallons per day. This is just accepting the funds that we've already awarded it and directing into a project ordinance. Staff recommends consensus.
This was grant money that we are accepting for $19,700,000 for the subsurface
Melissa,
phase 2.
Does that money live in an interest-bearing account of any kind, or is it state money that's just hanging there on paper?
Hanging on paper right now. We have spent part of it. It's a reimbursement basis grant, so as we spend it.
Okay, so there's no opportunity there.
They know the game that we want to play.
They keep their
We
own money,
trust
I
it.
know.
We wish that was the case, yes.
So, yes, I'm good.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, David Price. Alyssa Moore is our finance director, and she is going to give a financial statement update.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Council. Each month I have to come before you and provide you with a monthly update on our finances. So in your agenda packet was the revenue and expenditure accounts as well as a trial balance. If you have any questions on them, I'll be more than glad to answer them. We just need these incorporated into the minutes.
Thank you for giving us the data. I looked through it. I'm curious, when you looked through it, any surprises?
No. Well, sales tax is a little bit higher than we anticipated. It did go back up for our reimbursement that we received in February, but that is for around Christmas time, so we'll see what the effect is in March.
Okay. And the other thing, and I think we had talked about this last month, was, is it possible to get some relative to last year kind of column in there, or?
We can, yes. We can provide a trend analysis, yes.
Well, I just, yeah.
Or just a percentage from,
Increase or
it's hard to.
You know, I would say the year-to-date revenue or expenditure column, the same year-to-date number that you would have used last year.
We can definitely do that.
That, to me, makes the easiest for me to see what's going on, if I should be asking any more questions. We're expecting it to be a little bit more this year in that column. I just want to, something like that would be helpful. I don't know.
We can definitely get it included.
Anyone else have any comments? Thank you, Melissa, for presenting. All right, item number 21 is David Price, Public Utility CIP update. And he is requesting a action on this item tonight.
Council, in your packet, there's it's capital improvement plan update for the Public Utilities Department. We are submitting this improvement plan for adoption. The main differences are two. One, the master plan that was originally listed as one item is now split into two. One is for treatment plant expansion, and one is for NPDES pipeline expansion. This idea is so we look at these two individually. The other item that you also see reflected is with the project I just mentioned with the subsurface phase 2's capping plant. The new schedule reflects a more realistic approach of how it's going to lay out now that we are fixing to bid that out and have a set schedule. These are due to changing statutes and current rulemaking that are giving us more clarification on some of our options. Therefore, we want to more clearly identify our CIP to some of our engineering consultants. Like I said, staff is requesting a vote on this approval. And I do have the CIP pulled up in front of me. Fortunately, I did not put it on the slide. I don't think it would fit, but I'll be glad to go through any particular item if you like.
Anyone have any questions on splitting the master plan into two separate items?
And the SDF input will present both the lines?
No, it will only reflect the treatment side. It will not reflect the NPDS side, the discharge side.
Okay. So that's simply a placeholder in the event that we've worked this out?
Yes, it is. So we don't sacrifice the work that's already been put into in case the town decides to pick it up again in the future.
And the bottom line there, the scalping plant represents the 19.8, that grant plus the difference out of the sewer fund.
Now you have to look at all 3 years. That is a realistic expenditure out of all 3 years.
So it'll be online at the end of 29?
Beginning of 29, but yes.
Beginning of 29, okay.
Anyone else have any other questions? It is requested that the town council consider approval of the public utilities capital improvement plan as presented by David Price. Do I have a motion to do so?
I'll make a motion to do so.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Item 22 of 24 is Carla Citarelli, Rules of Procedure Update.
Sorry, I forgot I had more items. Okay, the rules of procedure, that's here because it was mentioned in a previous meeting that you may want to make some changes to the rules of procedure, possibly adding another comment period. So I kind of wanted to get some direction on that, but also asking that we consider coming back to this later with whatever direction you give me on that, as well as just reviewing the entire rules of procedure to see where we might want to make any changes. Comparing to other towns, looking at what's included, what we might want to include that isn't, or if there are things in there that might be redundant.
You're just asking right now that we review.
Well, right now I'm asking first to get a little direction on the public comment thing.
Public
to see
comment.
if
It was brought up in our annual meeting that we consider additional public comment period.
Well, we were talking about having one at the beginning and one at the end, basically. Andy and I attended the town meeting at Holly Ridge, and we were talking about, we have public comment in the beginning, and maybe there was an opportunity to have, after some.
The comment happens prior to the adoption of the agenda, and I think that it's very informative to council to understand what's on people's minds in the event that we want to make some type of a change, particularly to the consent agenda would be one area. Clearly at the end of the meeting, I think it's important for some people, or for people to have a chance to comment on what was said and ask further questions or make comments as well. So that worked out. And at the TISPC today, that they did the same thing. They started out with comments first to help set the agenda, and then ended up with follow-up comments at the very end. And I think that seems to work, as opposed to one comment period after the adoption of the consent agenda.
There's just an opportunity for citizens to come and speak more, but they may not take advantage of it. I don't know.
So you're just looking for a consensus to move public?
You're just looking at an idea.
I just need an idea of what you want to do there, and then I will bring it back. We'll look through it some more, review it some more, make some comparisons, It just really hasn't, there have been a few changes over the past few years, but they were just one change at a time. So I'd like to look at it comprehensively, the whole thing.
That's the only thing I remember us mentioning at the planning meeting, but, yeah, we can all give it some more thought. Would you want us to?
That's a pretty lengthy document, and that's a lot of Robert's rules in there.
It
Yeah.
does. Mhm.
Do you want us to?
So that's why I kind of want to look at it and see if, you know, maybe we're missing something that should be in there. Maybe we have things that don't necessarily need to be.
Okay.
Never hurts to look at it twice, so.
Is this something you want us as council to do, or are you going to do it and then tell us what you saw?
I will start by reviewing it, and then we'll bring it back to a work session for you guys to discuss items.
Everybody agree?
Yes.
Thank you, Carla. Item number 23 is Carta Cilarelli again? Cilarelli.
That's fine. That's
You're a winner.
Committee appointments.
Okay, I gave you the ballots to start, so if I can collect those to see where we're at. There's,
I haven't filled mine out.
go ahead.
So which one are we doing first, and what exactly do you want me to do?
Well, we have 2 openings on the PSET committee.
Right.
You have your applicants there. You have 2 openings on the planning board, one for a primary position and one for an alternate. And you have Parks and Recreation, there are 3 openings.
So which one? All right, so for planning board, you want me, since one is active, or one is the full member?
Indicate which one.
So I can vote for 1 full and 1 alternate.
You want more? Yes, sir.
How are you going to
sign.
tabulate them? Okay, you'll tell us.
He's really good in math.
Make sure you sign it. I'm gonna make Brett do it.
What if I'm indifferent? I don't care if it's full or alternate. Carla.
You should have done the other vote.
Let's do the PSAT first.
One-
Yeah. Do it first. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3.
You want Parks and Rec and the P set as well?
Piece it, yeah.
That's this whole packet.
Did I sign the other one?
You need piece it.
That was,
That's the one he's got. Go back and have them right in there. Okay, so PSET, we have majority with Jack Hargis and Christina Potter. And these will all be put on the March 3rd consent agenda for an official vote. Trudy, I don't understand yours.
if you get.
That was one for oh, you're right. You told me I did it right. Okay. And you looked.
You know, I'm going to read through it
If we get there.
if we get to that.
Meeting, folks.
His heart beating.
Whose birthday?
Good, that's a good sign.
I could tell that Jeremy was happy he wasn't on the agenda today.
Okay.
So we have Brian Moxie as the full position and Clinton Bailey as the alternate.
All right, I'm going to ask how those votes were tabulated. Just,
I just wrote down each vote that was voted for full and each one that was voted for alternate.
okay.
Did you want to see them?
They are public record.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Oh, okay. Nice.
Right.
Yeah, they selected. It was just hard to see the check down there. Yeah, okay, where's the third one?
So this is it? Okay, Parks and Recreation, Molly Trask, Jessica Nelson, and Aaron Collar, Kaylor Collar. Were selected on those.
Say that again?
Trask, Nelson, and Collar.
Got it. No, that's good.
Thank you,
These are
Carla.
all go on the consent agenda for the official vote.
Thank you, Carla. All right. We're on item number 24 of 24, which is the cross-access easement, and Kyle Brewer will present.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. The item before you is a request for the town to consider granting a cross-access easement between town-owned property identified by PIN 4235902395, which is generally located south and west of Goldsboro Avenue. I've included a map within your packet. And it's just south of the old police department on the island, just for a vicinity location. The cross-access would then connect with the adjacent tract south of the property owned by the town at 4235901253. The purpose of the proposed cross-access easement is to provide secondary access to the adjacent development, which will include the approved Marina Joe's restaurant. Additional considerations associated with the granting of the easement or the conditions or terms of the easement would include the following. The town will pave Goldsboro Avenue to the minimum extent necessary to provide cross-access to the developer's property. The developer will then pave the portion of its property necessary to connect across the town-owned property to access Goldsboro Avenue. The developer will pay the town an annual maintenance fee for upkeep of the cross-access drive and approximately 75 feet of Goldsboro Avenue. The maintenance fee will be subject to annual cost escalations as determined by the National Highway Construction Cost Index, not to exceed 3% annually. The developer will also fund the construction of a pedestrian boardwalk at 50% along the waterfront portion of the remaining town property, including all design and permitting costs. The boardwalk shall be constructed of marine-grade materials and shall be a minimum of 8 feet in width. Approval of the request would support the town's strategic initiative for tourism and cultural resources, as well as a draft capital improvement plan objective by creating public spaces that enhance access to and views of Yow's Channel or Deep Creek, depends on where you're looking at, the source of the naming of that, a part of Topsail Sound. As a reminder, the capital improvement item was to take those three vacant tracks and develop parking area to be able to access public boardwalk, canoe and kayak launch on that site. It is the town's intention to apply for the CAMA Public Access Grant Also, hopefully working with the Coastal Federation to evaluate the dilapidated bulkhead that exists on the property, look for some other sort of shoreline stabilization method, perhaps through a living shoreline, and then provide pervious materials for the parking surface as to minimize runoff. But essentially, the capital improvement project, will be presented to you in a budgetary form during the budget process. What I'm seeking is general consensus on the potential conditions of the easement, and if that is provided, then I will work with legal counsel to get that drafted, working with the adjacent property owner, and make sure that we have the necessary approvals in place. I didn't want to get too far with it without hearing the board's input on this item. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. The easement will be 26 feet in width, which provides a two-way cross-access between Goldsboro Avenue and the adjacent property.
Kyle, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So the proposed kayak launch we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Is down,
Goldsboro Ave.
down that way?
It would be, yes, sir.
Not where the present boardwalk stops? It would
No,
continue down the...
No, and again, the site design of the actual project still needs to be developed. What my task will be before April 24th, the grant deadline, is to get general cost estimates for the project, what cash matches something like this with the commitment of the developer or the adjacent property owner at 50% would go towards a cash match. Right now, believe I can seek an 85-15 split on funding from state and state contribution 85, local 15 is what they had acknowledged. Anything additional in cash match only benefits us in our ranking criteria in order to achieve the grant. But ultimately, the request here is the matter at hand is the easement and then the potential conditions of that.
Eventually, parking would be down this way. I'm talking down the road here.
Al, do you have that schematic that you showed me the other day?
I do. This was
Maybe for the third, you can use that, because it's much more descriptive, John, of what you're asking.
And I'll share that back with the board. The sketch that Councilman Pleil is referring to is, even when the town owned the police department, it was based off a hand-drawn sketch that I had done, and Mr. Riggs had graciously provided that back into a general survey form.
It looks really nice, Kyle.
I agree. So,
You have some art skills.
So I do have one question, is the builder or the property owner approached us, or we approached them?
It was sort of a mutual interest in the relationship, and I say that because what we were discussing was fire access and secondary access to the property that the condo units and Marina Joe's is located on. In order to provide a turnaround, the applicant either had to build a hammerhead turnaround at the terminus of their property or create another driveway cut onto North New River. So what we felt was, in order to avoid an additional driveway on North New River, which already experiences congestion at certain times, it would benefit the town if we can get something out of it, is recognized with this potential agreement, and then benefit the adjacent property owner by having that secondary access without having to put in another driveway or a hammerhead turnaround. So we could have said nothing, and they would have had to comply with it, and still, at this point, we could deny the request, and they still are going to be obligated to do those.
So it does address a safety concern that we have, having two ingress, egress on two different streets. That has value there.
Yes.
And it adds convenience for the owner, the property owner, the builder, with regard to less investment in terms of building an extra entrance, and the customers are going to like it better too.
If I could get my question answered, Would you
Sure.
allow me to do that? I know it's putting the cart way before the horse, but that end there, because I've been out there, that end there would be parking, like, say? I'm just
So-
thinking, because I'm getting questions about the second kayak launch, that's all.
Yeah. So the way that the draft schematic from 2 years ago, again, this is subject to change, but we own the 3 parcels that are south of Goldsboro Avenue that go from North New River all the way to the water. There's about 150 feet of shoreline there. So what we would propose is that you would have parking, and then at the terminus, at the very point or off to the side of the point where I would envision that being located would be the canoe and kayak launch incorporated into the boardwalk structure.
I know it's down the road, but it just helps me out for the explanation, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And like Councilman Pleil said, I'll be happy to send out the sketch. Just know that it's a very preliminary type of concept of what could be there. And in general terms, I think that ultimately it could be pretty consistent with what we would see, but please take into account that the sketch includes space for boat docks. And when we were discussing this, we were talking about improving Yow's Channel and trying to get boat access in there, and then had some additional consultation that may not be permittable.
The dredging project was going to be pretty extensive, because it's not, I mean, there's water there, but it's not.
It's pretty shallow.
It's like a protected fishery area
Yeah.
as well as you get back in there.
And what I was explaining to Coastal Federation, which will be our case for our grant application for the additional access, is that the other canoe and kayak launch that we have, albeit a very nice access in Soundside Park, if your skill level is not to a standard, it'd be like sending a 16-year-old driver out on I-40 for the first time. You have the Intercoastal Waterway right there, and the ability to enjoy, the waters of Surf City. You got to get either across the Intercoastal or hugging a shoreline north and south. So, and still subject to a lot of wake. This opens up public access to an area that is probably a little bit more safe and enjoyable.
Again, I know it's way before, but would that be a paid parking lot?
Yes, sir. We would seek revenue out of this to help fund the capital investment.
We have to pave it, pretty much.
No, we would not, I would not recommend paving.
I mean, I've driven out there. It's pretty hard packed stuff.
I think a couple of you all were at the planning board meeting. Our planning director presented alternative surfacing materials. So there are different products that are available that would support vehicular access as well as keep it pervious.
Well, historically, for pivot paid parking, we've used gravel, so.
Yeah, I would just probably seek a little bit more durability with this. But nonetheless, details that we will work out. But I think even the true grid pavement system would be a really nice feature and be a demonstration.
So, just out of curiosity, Mayor, if you were to use your realtor skills and tell me, if I wanted to buy that piece of property, those 3 lots together, they would likely be buildable, right? And
For sure buildable.
right, yeah, because I mean it's all built right. What's the value? Are we talking? No. Without the easement, just if I were to buy those 3 parcels together.
I don't even want to throw a number out there.
Okay.
I would want to sign working with real estate agents. Full disclosure.
I mean,
before.
is it in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or in
Can
the
I
millions?
ask a question, Andy?
It's the opportunity cost.
Can we address that at another workshop and work on this easement, please? I mean that sincerely, man. I'm not trying to.
I don't think it needs to be.
Unless this is connected somehow about your decision, which I'm cool with. I just feel like we're just. I feel like we've shifted to, hey, what if we did this? What if we did that? How about this? And we've
I
gotten
like
off
the
topic.
idea of having a kayak launch there and access to the water. I think it's consistent with our land use plan.
I agree.
I want to know what it's costing the town, though.
Can we address the kayak launch more appropriate time?
Right now, we have no, we have planned in our plan to keep it as an open
Space.
green space for the town of Surf City.
There's been no indication that the town would be willing to entertain any sort of offer on these properties, because when we went through the sale of the police department property, I could have sold all these at once. That's where a lot of the interest went away when people realized that these properties, so again, of value to it, I wouldn't be able to provide that, but I think the value is back to the community, I guess, is maintaining this and not putting condos on the property, townhouses or whatever it might be.
Currently, Goldsboro on that side is really just used for that one residence.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we done anything to discuss with them the possibility of additional traffic? Because you're now putting not only the homes, but also a business in there. And given that you have like a right turn lane, do we foresee any other additional like
Oh, up here, yeah.
vehicular means of needing to make adjustments to like the street and the flow pattern there?
No, I mean, we'd be more than happy to reach out to 301 Goldsboro Avenue, just to discuss the plans when we submit a grant application.
I want to make sure that that happens. That's fair. I mean, they've probably lived on that road forever and never had anybody else drive on it really, so.
Yeah, there's
The
been,
town
Your
parks
neighbor's
on
back
this
there one
property
time.
every day. How
Every
many, I mean, I drive by there and I see how many of our own town vehicles, like, in the
yeah.
evenings when our public utilities go home. Or not public
Yes.
utilities, but facilities and grounds.
yes,
They park
4 or
here.
5 vehicles.
Back in there.
They
Okay.
park, they use, this is a road that's been there for
Yeah.
So it's been platted as a roadway.
how
He
many
may
years?
had a hut back there. and
Goldsboro
they-
Avenue has been platted for years.
Yeah.
It's been used, these people have, the resident there has many, that has vehicular traffic every day.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
but we can still send,
It's gonna have a lot more traffic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just want to
when
make
we-
sure that they're
yeah,
aware
If
if.
we open it up to
yeah.
kayak, especially any type of kayak launch, it will definitely have a lot more traffic.
So that road terminates at the water.
no, the right-of-way does not go all the way back to the water.
Okay.
It terminates,
See the line.
yeah, I can do a little measurement.
I think it's
It's about 220 feet off of the right-of-way.
into the
of
third
North.
lot.
And this is the house? It's 301, the house. Yeah. That's, they're just.
So we couldn't use Goldsboro terminus as the launching point for the kayaks.
Well, I mean, yes, we could, theoretically, because we own the property. If you're going down Goldsboro, there is a square tract that we still retain. So yes, we could put the kayak launch there.
Okay.
Yeah, and that goes into the little basin, in that area. So again, when we get into design.
Sure.
That may be the more suitable location and the layout of the parking to accommodate potential non-motorized vessel launching. That could be appropriate too, so.
Sorry, I opened up this can.
No, you're fine. I appreciate the questions.
I know it's down the road, so I just was, I've had some questions, that's all.
We have consensus for cross-access easement.
Yes.
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 We got full consensus. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn this work session.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.